The battlefield, it is now scorched and barren. Jura, the monstrous ten tails in humanoid form, who just humbled the seemingly unstoppable Boruto. Yes, that Boruto. Jura now finds himself on the defensive, and the one who's pushing him back, it is Kawaki. The same Kawaki who, several chapters ago, he was struggling in the fights that we saw. The same Kawaki who Mitsuki says is weaker than Code and by default weaker than base Boruto. The same Kawaki who has been repeatedly outclassed in every battle since Naruto's been sealed away. He has now been fully unleashed into the story with the full fury of Isshiki Otsutsuki's offensive power. But the question is now burning through the fandom like the black flames of Materasu, which is Kawaki too powerful right now? Did Boruto 2 Blue Vortex just break its own power scale? Or is this the moment we've been building towards all along? Also, by the time you guys are seeing this, the chapter review should be up on the channel. I got the editor, the chapter review audio on the night of the 17th. It usually takes 2 full days to edit, but if you're seeing this video on a Thursday, then it means that the review likely won't be out till Friday. So if that's the case, I thank you in advance for your patience and your understanding. We don't care about being the first one to drop reviews each month because I want the chapter reviews to be the best edited video on the channel, so the quality comes first. So jumping right into it, we have to first establish some context because context does matter, and like a lot of things that deal with Kawaki, there is context being left out. So in order to truly understand what Kawaki's at right now, we have to rewind just a little bit. For the past several arcs, Kawaki, he hasn't been winning. The last real win that he took was in that moment where he casted Omnipotence and was able to frame Boruto for the murder of Naruto and Hinata. He has basically been emotionally, quietly unraveling. He's basically been in a position where he is slowly getting exposed, even if he can't see it. He was directly stated by Mitsuki to be weaker than Code without his limiters. He got blitzed by Boruto when they clashed. Boruto knocked him on his ass with 1 hit, and Jura put him on sleepy time after 2 hits. He's taken L after L, even as he's shown himself as being obsessed with protecting Naruto by any means necessary. Now contrast this with his recent choice, the moment where Kawaki might have hit rock bottom, where he orders Amado to take off his attack limiters, knowing full well it would compromise his defense and regeneration. He said he didn't care. He just wants the offensive power to kill everyone in his way. That's the kind of recklessness and all-in desperation that screams, I don't care if I live, I just want to win. And as Kawaki has made it clear in 2 Blue Vortex, there's almost a bit of a suicidal streak in him because he said repeatedly, after all this is over, he will go away quietly. Now, in this moment, he is tapping into Karma version 1, and he is landing solid hits on Jura before this. The same Jura who wiped the floor with Boruto moments earlier. But before anyone calls Kawaki overpowered, I want to break this down just a little bit deeper. So this power increase that he got, it does make a lot of sense. This isn't some random out of nowhere power boost. I joke about it in the chapter review that Amado was a Pokemon trainer and he was feeding Kawaki a bunch of rare candies, but this isn't necessarily the case. This isn't also a Dragon Ball level plot armor power up. This is very much earned, and here's why. He's now using Isshiki's full attack potential. Before this, Kawaki, he was heavily restricted. Even Mitsuki confirmed that Boruto was stronger than Kawaki due to how easily Boruto was able to defeat Code despite Code being stronger than Jigen. And Boruto himself was worried about fighting against Jura. With those restraints off, Kawaki now has access to Isshiki's absurdly destructive offensive capability, the very thing that Boruto said they would need in order to take down Jura. This means space-time manipulation, raw chakra force, and the enhanced physical blows, all without being capped by artificial limits that Amado put in place. The other thing to look at is that he is still in the Karma version 1, so let that sink in. Whatever it is we're about to see from Kawaki, whatever we just saw in this chapter, it wasn't even his full power yet. This is not his final form. We don't see horned Kawaki. Kawaki's dominance isn't just due to brute strength either. He's also fighting calculated and with purpose. This battle, in so many ways, it is personal. He believes he is the only one who can protect Naruto. His willpower is feeding directly into his karma's responsiveness, and it should be worth noting, as it is stated in multiple guidebooks for Naruto, including the fan books, when Naruto characters have something that they're fighting for, they tap into a much larger reservoir of power. Basically, they get a mental amp. This is also heavily implied multiple times in Naruto's manga, so this is not some guidebook random fact that I'm throwing out here. The other thing you have to look at too is from a narrative perspective. His earlier losses that we saw, he needed payoff. We got told by Kashin Koji that, like, Kawaki, based on where he was prior to this and every timeline he saw, the boy got his ass whooped every single fight. Storytelling wise, this is crucial. Kawaki's arc, when you really sit down and look at it, it has been one of frustration, rage, and internal conflict, especially given that when he hears people talk about Boruto, he knows they're really talking about him. He's just hiding behind omnipotence. Kawaki, in so many ways, if he isn't spiraling, he's on the process to spiral. This power up, it isn't just strength, it's also catharsis. It is a payoff. If he were still losing, even after all this emotional and narrative buildup, it would feel very stagnant. The audience needs to see what happens when he finally goes all out, when he finally has the power to back up the very thing that he said he was going to do, be able to protect Naruto. If he's still losing after all of this, you could argue Kawaki's character might take a step back despite having gotten a power up. Now, this is where a lot of you guys are like, but dude, what about the power scaling? So I want you to think about the power scaling and get your 2s and 1s, carry the 3, do the quadratic axis of the pixels on the panels, and etc. I want you to take all that, I want you to turn it sideways, I want you to put it in a corner somewhere, because none of that stuff matters. Boruto, ever since the time skip, he has looked untouchable in the narrative. He is using the flying Raijin, he has the near limitless power of the Uzuhiko. He has seemed like a god amongst shinobi, and yet Jura, he just clapped him. So now Kawaki shows up and suddenly he's doing even better than Boruto did. It kind of feels jarring, but only if you forget two major points. Boruto and Kawaki, even as far back as Boruto Part 1, they've always had different strengths. Boruto's strengths, they always relied on his versatility and his intelligence and his high aptitude to learn things at a very fast rate. But Kawaki, that guy's always been a tank, especially when it comes to using karma. He isn't just more skilled than Boruto using karma, he's light years ahead of him. When he's allowed to go on a full offensive using karma, Kawaki, he's in a class that is arguably above anything that Boruto has. Boruto, not Isshiki. Jura, being a Ten Tails, seems to respect the Otsutsuki's raw power. He even notes that Kawaki right now has gotten a lot stronger, and when he was fighting against Boruto, he noted how Boruto felt more worthy because he had that power that was so overwhelming as an Otsutsuki. Jura was just on a different tier. So Kawaki's success might not be about being stronger than Boruto overall, but rather having the exact kind of brutal force that can disrupt Jura's rhythm, which opened that door for the tag team of Boruto and Kawaki versus Jura. It's also important to note that Jura hasn't gone full power either. Let's not forget, Jura is still playing around. He said it himself. He's never used full power, and when fighting against people that he finds to be strong people, he gets excited. It's a weakness that he got from Code and Jigen and Isshiki. His reaction to Kawaki, it wasn't one of panic, maybe slight annoyance, but I would also argue it was intrigue. This suggests that Jura has a lot more in the tank. Just as he studied Boruto, he's now studying Kawaki. His true strength, it hasn't even surfaced yet. Kawaki's dominance, it might be short-lived, but it should be worth noting due to Sukuna Hikona and the Daikokuten. You can make the strong argument that Kawaki has the right combination of both raw power that is clearly above what Boruto had, but also the hacks that is going to be needed to fight against Jura. Kawaki, in my opinion, might be a better matchup due to what he can use the Kokugan Eye for. Those Bijudama, Kawaki can store them in the Daikokuden, or he can shrink them with Sukuna Hikona. That's going to level the playing field in ways that Boruto couldn't, because Boruto has not mastered Flying Raijin to the point that he can do what Minato did with the Flying Raijin Guiding Thunder and redirect Bijudama. Boruto's not gotten there yet. So this is not the final phase of the battle. It's not even close. Then when you start looking at the narrative purpose of power itself, every power-up that we've had in Naruto and Boruto, they've all served a narrative function. If anyone tells you otherwise, they don't understand the Naruto franchise. For a character like Boruto, for instance, his growth has been about prophecy, singularity, and fate, and Boruto's willingness to try to defy all of that. His power, it exists in a realm that, just based on what he can do, based on the fact that he is 100% Otsutsuki, it's in a realm of cosmic level, and yet thematically he's also in the realm of being a cosmic inevitability. But Kawaki's growth, if Boruto's was about fate and singularity and prophecy and overcoming those things, Kawaki represents more will and force. It's not necessarily divine. It's more about desperation. It's more about his own hubris to a certain extent. He's clawing towards strength, sacrificing everything, his body, his humanity, his morality, because Kawaki at his heart is a consequentialist. As long as the end result gets him what he wants, he doesn't care what lines he has to cross. Naruto and Hinata are proof of that. He, in so many ways, is becoming what I've said for years now. He is becoming Isshiki without realizing it. That's a tragic twist. His power, while it is earned, it is also terrifying because he's becoming the very thing that he hated in Isshiki. So no, he's not just too powerful. He's just powerful enough to become the monster that he had feared when he was growing up. Kawaki's power spike, narratively, it makes sense and it has a huge payoff. He has the motivation, he has the lore backing, he has the narrative structure supporting it. But the bigger concern isn't that he's too strong, it's where will that strength take him, because right now he's winning the fight, at least the early stages of it. But Jura is about to get more serious, and this battle, it could very well flip yet again. And that's what makes Boruto 2 Blue Vortex right now so gripping. It's not about who's stronger, who shoots off the bigger Bijudamas and things of that nature. That's cool for water cooler talk, but the narrative has been building towards this, and it is so fitting that Kawaki is unleashing this power in an arc that is so centered around the whole concept of love itself. And one of the things that we are getting a glimpse at is that sometimes love can give you strength, but sometimes that same strength that love gives you can also cost you. Now we have to ask ourselves, is Kawaki finally getting the respect that he deserves from readers after taking so many L's? Or is he being set up for his hardest fall ever? Basically, is he being set up to crash out yet again? The other thing we have to ask is, does Jura still have something massive hiding underneath his sleeves because he's never fought at full power before? Let me know down in the comment section below. Click here on the left to check out the Boruto chapter review if you haven't done that already, or click here on the right to check out videos from my other two anime channels where I talk about non-Naruto content.